You know you need something, you're just not sure what. You've been listening, you're doing the work, but there's still this feeling that you're circling the same place, like you're waiting for the thing that finally moves you. Now, maybe you've thought about working with me one on one. Maybe something's held you back, the timing, the money, or you're just not sure you're ready yet. I get that. And I want you to know there's still a place for you. I built a resource for exactly this moment, guided meditations for when the waves hit and you just need to breathe, workbooks to help you get out of your head and onto the page, ebooks on what near death experiences tell us about the people we've lost and whether they're really gone, a full course for widows and widowers who are ready to find their way back to living, and a full course for the evidence of the afterlife. And all of it is available for pay what you want. Nobody gets turned away because of money. I think these resources are valuable, but I don't want to hold them back because you don't have the money to pay for them. You don't have to wait until you're ready for coaching. The next step might be a lot smaller than you think. To find out, go to grieftogrowth.com/store. That's grief, the numeral 2, growth.com/store, and check out the resources I made for you. Close your eyes and imagine. What if the things in life that cause us the greatest pain, the things that bring us grief, are challenges? Challenges designed to help us grow, to ultimately become what we were always meant to be. We feel like we've been buried, but what if, like a seed, we've been planted? And having been planted, we grow to become a mighty tree. Now, open your eyes. Open your eyes to this way of viewing life. Come with me as we explore your true, infinite, eternal nature. This is Grief to Growth, and I am your host, Brian Smith. Welcome to Grief to Growth. I'm Brian Smith, and whether you've been with me for years or this is the first time you found your way here, I'm glad that you're here. The show exists because I believe that the hardest things that we go through in life, the losses, the questions that don't have easy answers, the moment where everything we thought we knew gets rearranged, those aren't just wounds to survive. They're invitations to become. We talk about grief, we talk about consciousness, we talk about what it means to be human and what might lie beyond all that. My guest today is Liane Marie Lambert. She's a woman who died and came back with a mission. At 27 years old, she had a near-death experience that cracked her open and set her on a path that she couldn't have planned. Today, she's an ascension coach, an energy alchemist, a best-selling author, and what she calls a karma/dharma activator. Her book, Karma to Dharma, A New Age Guide to Becoming Superhuman, now including an audiobook that she narrated herself, lays out the blueprint that she discovered for moving from karmic cycles that keep us stuck to dharmic lives that sets us free. In our episode today, we're going to start where her journey started, the moment she crossed over and she came back changed. And from there, we'll explore two of the most misunderstood concepts in spiritual life, karma and dharma. What if karma isn't just cosmic punishment? What if it's actually an invitation? And what does it mean to move beyond karma into your true purpose? So if you've ever felt like you're repeating the same old patterns, attracting the same situations, wondering why your life looked the way it does, no matter how hard you try to change it, this conversation is made for you. And if you want to continue the conversation after the episode's over, head over to grieftogrowth.substack.com. You'll find an article there discussing today's episode, and you can connect with me and other listeners. So with that, let's welcome Liane Marie Lambert to Grief to Growth.
Thank you so much, Brian. That introduction was so on point. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. I know this is going to be a great conversation. I'm looking forward to getting into it. I want to start with your near-death experience, and then we'll go from there.
Sure, I'd be happy to dive in. So I was 27 years old in London, England, and I looked the wrong way when crossing the road, being a Canadian, and was hit by a double-decker bus.
Oh.
So I flew back. I just remember having visuals of my body on the street. I could still see the leather jacket that I was wearing that day. And then my consciousness was brought to the bus driver who was holding his head, and I could feel the anxiety that he was experiencing at that time. Next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital bed with three doctors at my feet looking at my chart.
Mm.
I walked out of the bed, threw up, went back to bed, and then walked out of that hospital 3 days later with
Mm.
only losing a small patch of hair. That was the catalyst to my awakening. I
Mm.
was always very connected to my angels, guides, source. I never once did not believe in the spiritual realms. However, that was the moment where I truly started to tap into what is destiny.
Mm.
Why did I survive that accident? I'm here for a reason. Where do I go from here? And then it was just a matter of following the breadcrumbs, and which led me to me here and now, which is a spiritual being having a human experience. And say this, I don't say this lightly. We become so trapped in our identities that this is one of the big things that is keeping us from our ascension and highest evolution.
Mm.
If we can start to see ourselves as just energetic beings that are shifting and creating our reality, it transforms the entire human experience. And this is precisely why I survived this, my soul contract was full of really harsh karmic lessons
Mhm.
for me to live through so that I can transcend out of them and show others and guide others to rise out of those situations themselves.
Okay. So what was it about that experience do you think that actually caused your awakening? Because it doesn't sound like a traditional NDE where you had like a out of body in the tunnel and all that type of stuff. So,
It wasn't traditional in that. And I would say, again, I didn't need to know that God's source was real.
uh,
I've always felt it. I
mhm.
can tap into that in the here and now.
Mhm.
So for me, it was more so, it was that fire, that push. Okay. Like you just experienced something that was so out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
It's time to start looking. It's time to start seeking. It propelled me, it
Yeah.
pushed me. And I believe in my soul contract, I was meant to learn as I go.
Mhm.
And it's just that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the word karma because I think the word karma, especially in the West, I don't know about in the East where it originated, but in the West, I think it's misunderstood. So what does karma mean to you?
Well, for me, karma, and I won't even say dharma, are two of the same.
Hmm.
It is that we project energy and we are creating our reality. Our reality is a reflection of the energy we are projecting. So if we are projecting from a low vibration, we are going to manifest just that. We are all master manifestors,
Hmm.
and we're just not aware of it. But the distinct difference between karma and dharma, from my perspective, is that karma is held in the 3D, a lower vibration of cause and effect, and it's held in a field of lessons as we are here to experience from the ego self. Dharma is held in 5D, which is you've learned to let go of all the aspects of the ego that you think you are. And
Hmm.
as you elevate out of that, you start to become an observer of your reality. It's null of fear. You just experience life in a higher vibration and thus draw in an experience that reflects that.
Okay. Yeah, because I think a lot of people think of karma as just a system of punishment. It's like I do something wrong and then something bad happens to me.
Right. And there is no wrong.
Okay.
It's just a series of lessons.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard, I was watching a program where the daughter says to the dad, Dad, why is it that you always get it right? And he responded, because I've done it wrong all my life.
Hmm.
I've just learned from it.
Yeah.
So there is no right or wrong when you see it from that perspective. You are just participating in this reality. And as an active participant, you've put something out there and there are consequences, whether good or bad, however you want to see it, that come from it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
up to you to learn from that. If it's working for you, keep going. If it's not working for you, well, drop it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do something different, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you say we're all master manifestors because I know, again, that's another concept. People say, I think I have to learn how to manifest. What would your response be to that?
I would say you have to learn that you already are a manifester.
Yeah.
We are energetic beings again, and what you put out, you are creating. And if people think that we're so consumed with chasing rainbows, for looking for outcome, the end game, that we have lost sight of the experience. And as you learn to raise your vibration, you will start to discover how your entire reality starts to shift to reflect that. And then you no longer need to search for something outside of you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a new survey reveals that 23% of Americans have had a near-death experience or NDE, and 35% know someone who has? This phenomena is more common than we thought. This August, 1,000 people are expected to gather for the International Association for Near-Death Studies annual conference in Bellevue, Washington, August 26th through 30th. The conference features well-known authors like neurosurgeon Eben Alexander, who experienced an NDE while in a coma and was transformed by what he experienced. More than 30 people will present research, discuss mental health and NDEs, explore spirituality, and support one another. Attendees will enjoy a bookstore featuring author book signings, an exhibit floor, a healing center, and a joyous Saturday night dance party. Early bird registration rates are available through July 15th. Visit ians.org now, IANDS.org, and join the 1,000 people who are expected to attend. Yeah, I think that's a really good point too, because again, people think about manifestation. They think, okay, well, I like to manifest a bigger car, a bigger house, a new car, romance, whatever. So when it comes to manifesting or to creating the outcome we want, I hear you say it's more about experience and learning and growing is what I'm hearing.
And it's also about learning how to embody those energies so that you aren't looking for something outside of you.
Yeah.
So for instance, if you're looking for the love of your life, well, you are putting too much power into somebody else fulfilling that part of you or meeting those expectations.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to become all those things for yourself, to become it's a catalyst for your self-love journey. If you start to embody what it is to be whole, happy, fulfilled, and complete yourself, then you will attract a partner that mirrors that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't do the work initially, then you're not going to embody what you're seeking. And let's face it, we are always seeking something to fulfill something where we're lacking.
Yeah. Right.
It's counteractive.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. So when you were 27, you had this experience. You said you were already connected. You already knew about God and source and your guides and stuff. So what changed for you at that point? Was that a point where you decided this is time for me to teach others, or what is it that to change for you at that time?
Oh no, I was totally lost.
Oh, okay.
If anything, I felt that was my dark night of the soul.
Oh,
The,
okay.
the journey is not, and I had multiple since then.
Mm.
It's not all love and light. It's about recognizing that we live in a polar universe, and those dark days were some of the hardest days to live through because you don't know where you're going. And it's in those moments that you truly start, it's teaching you to live in the
Mm.
present,
Okay.
to stop feeding your energy to a future that hasn't even happened yet. So no, I felt entirely lost. I all of a sudden was reflecting on my life, seeing that I was trying to make things work that weren't meant to work.
Hmm.
I was in a partnership that wasn't healthy for me. I was making very bad choices for myself, and I wasn't putting myself, my healthy self first.
Okay.
It was eye-opening and extremely humbling, and I had no direction.
Okay.
But it was also, I now in hindsight, I know it was part of my journey. I was
Yeah.
meant to be in that lost place. And having climbed out of that darkness and reached these really, really high vibrations on my own. If I hadn't done that on my own, then how can I help somebody else? So this is where we turn our pain into our power, but much like you brilliantly preach about. It's my journey was long and hard not because it was one significant thing. It was a series of things and it was slow. And
Yeah.
I don't want it to be slow for someone else.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I interviewed someone just a few days ago. She's a psychic medium, and she'd gone through, I mean, just terrible times as a child, and then in her first marriage, she was abused and everything. And what she had said was like, all this stuff created who I am now, and now I can have empathy for other people because I've been through it. So I think it's important that we do go through those things that make us, who we are.
Absolutely. We need to embrace the journey. If we don't have those lows, then how can we really, truly experience those highs?
Yeah, yeah,
We take them for granted.
yeah. And I'm glad we had that part of the conversation because again, when we talk about things, and this is we talk about things like manifesting, etc. Some people think, well, if I just think all the right thoughts and do the right things, then nothing quote bad will ever happen to me, and I'll have a life of ease. But I don't think that's the purpose of us being here.
Well, I think a life of ease is certainly possible, but it involves letting go of the I, that
Yeah,
is the ego self. And that is not an easy journey to take, but I can vouch for it. And we dip. As a spiritual being, as somebody's really aware, I know when I'm in my ego self. I know when I'm outside of it. And I can witness the fluctuations, and that's stepping into mastery. And that's having sovereignty. I get to choose how I want to be in this now moment. And this is the invitation for others, that we are not a victim to circumstance. We have been taught to be a certain way, but you can transform your entire reality if you just let go of who you think you are.
yeah. So how do you help people do that? How do you help people let go?
By identifying as an energetic being.
Hmm.
So to learn to use our body as a tool, and to how to read energy, interpret the information, recognize when is this coming from ego, when is this coming from a higher self or our guides or the universe. Once you learn to decipher the difference, then you start to really step into that driver's seat, and you start to learn how to shift your vibration every day.
Okay.
I can wake up and be great, and then something happens and it's low, and you learn to dive in, do the shadow work, and you can transcend out of that. And the more you do it, the quicker that ride becomes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been my experience also. It's not like we stay at some certain level where like nothing ever bothers us again, or but it's that recognizing where you are and making a different choice is the way I see it.
Yes, it
Yeah.
can always be transmuted. What is it to transmute? It's to transform an energy
Yeah.
and to mute out what is no longer serving you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So you talk about something called the Law of Karmic Entanglement. What is that?
Oh, this was so as I was doing my research and just journaling in preparation for a book that I didn't know I was going to be writing at the time.
Yeah.
I really studied energy and the laws of the universe. And there are so many people out there who don't believe in karma, the law of karma, cause and effect. And why is that? So as I was studying it, I started to see why that is. So what is karma? It's cause and effect. What we put out, we get back. But why is it that some people put things out and then don't necessarily receive it back? It's because it's transferred over to someone else, whether consciously or unconsciously. So, and how does that happen? It happens through an agreement, either consciously or unconsciously.
Okay.
And a conscious agreement is somebody convinces you of X, Y, or Z, and then you agree to it. Okay, yes, that is my role in it. So I take responsibility for my role in it, whether it's true or not, doesn't really matter. You've agreed. Unconsciously is when you are holding a vibration that matches that projected energy. So if somebody is making you feel like it's your fault, and then you start to doubt yourself, there is a lack of trust from within. That is subconsciously you don't believe in yourself, which is the root cause of the situation. And just that energetic match alone, you absorb that energy that was projected at you. So there is less energy to go back to the sender who's pushing it on somebody else.
Okay.
So this is why we are stuck. There is so much projected energy out there. Nobody's wanting to take responsibility. Nobody's wanting to grow and learn from the experience, because everybody's in survival and operating from their ego, and they're not seeing past the superficial. As more and more people are taking this journey and discovering what it is to be an awakened being, someone who is creating their universe, someone who can transform internally and rise into a higher vibration, then that karmic entanglement becomes less and less.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't want to participate in that anymore. They've learned their self-worth. They've done all the inner work that you can project all the stuff you want at me. It means nothing to me because it doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know my work. I know the work that I've done, and I know what I'm here to create. And I'm not going to let you dictate or be the authority over my life.
Okay. So some of the things that are happening in our lives, or some of the things that we're seeing, may not be something that we are necessarily manifesting, but we're not here on the planet alone, right? We've got other energies around us, and so it's learning how to, I don't know if shield's the right word, but not accept that.
It's co-create.
Yeah.
But you decide when you're going to participate.
Yeah.
It's about practicing discernment, learning what are my healthy boundaries? What is a contract that, like, a child, for instance, who's going, like, that is a soul contract that I've agreed to. I've agreed to be your parent, and I'm not going to give up on you, and I'm going to just share as much information as I can. And then at some point, though, we do have to step back and walk away and allow them to have their journey, because we can't shield them and protect them forever.
Right. Yeah.
It's robbing them of their experience. And yes, we live in a really dense reality. What's going on right now is just a reflection of the vibration that we have been existing from as a human race, as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's talk about that, because, regardless of where you are in the political spectrum or whatever, I think a lot of us can agree the world seems crazy right now.
Yes.
And there's a lot of stuff coming at all of us. So how do we navigate that effectively?
Yes, by doing the inner work ourselves.
Okay.
I can't stress this enough. Once this war is over, there will be another. As long as we are governed by our egos and always are looking for power, and we are tempted and we are chasing rainbows, we're never going to evolve past this. So it's just the people, the players, the skin will change, but the energy is still the same from within.
Right.
So the only way we are going to elevate and evolve as a human race is to do the work individually. As you free yourself and start to really grasp how powerful you are as a manifester, and start to witness your world change from the real inner work, because it's work, but you start to reap those rewards, then it encourages you. It will shift you. You'll want to share it with others. And this is the snowball effect.
Right.
The ripple effect that will change the world, but you have to do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I think a lot of times people get really frustrated because they say, well, I can't change the world. And what I hear you saying is what I believe. It's like you have to start by changing yourself. We can't change other people. That's absolutely true, but we can change ourselves, which will have a real impact on the way that we view the world and eventually on the world itself.
Yes. And imagine if we all stop living as victims.
Yeah.
Like, think about that as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So how do we begin to do that? Because I know I was going to ask you about clearing karma, because people talk about clearing karma. How do we go about doing that? What are some practical steps that we can take?
Well, practical steps is to live in hyper awareness. Everything is happening for you, and it will be hard for some people to digest this.
Yes.
But if you can learn to look for the lesson behind every encounter, both good and bad, because there's no good and bad, they just are.
Yeah.
Then it's just a way of operating. So just to see that this is a polar universe. So if we can start to shift our mindset from, okay, this happened for me, but there's a reason behind this. Look for the positive intention behind every situation. That in itself is a lesson. And if you can learn to shift your mental focus, that is bending reality.
Yes. Yeah.
It's bending reality because you are learning to shift your perception, shift your perspective in every situation.
Yeah. And, as we were talking about this, I think so many people have a victim mentality. This happened to me. It's like, not only is the universe not in my favor, the universe is actively out to get me. And I've heard people say, and a lot of times they'll project it on this being that we'll call God. Why did God do this? Why does God always do this to me? And if you look for that, that's what you're going to see. So as
Mhm.
you're saying, and so the I guess the step from that would be a neutral perspective, like this happened, and not it's not like it happened to me personally, so it's not out to get me. And then the next step is this happened for me. What's the lesson in this?
What's the lesson in this? Yes. Yes. So to take that bird's eye view, yes, this happened. And it doesn't feel good in the moment, but there is a reason behind it.
Yeah.
And I did call this in. That's hard to swallow sometimes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's hard to swallow because, and I love what you said, there's no good or bad, because when we assign good or bad to it, then of course we don't want to believe that we called it in, or we say this is a bad thing that happened to me. I don't want to be responsible for that. But taking you're getting hit by the bus, that is someone might say that's objectively a bad thing. It's not a good thing to get hit by a bus and to be put in the hospital. But that allowed you to have this transformation that you have, which you might not have otherwise had. So
Right.
that's
Well,
that's the
that's
shift.
looking, yes, and that's looking at the energy you embody. So I've had a lot of bad things happen to me,
Right.
tons of them. If I started to rhyme it all off, it's no different than anyone else who's had bad stuff happen to them. But internally, I know, and maybe that was the gift from being hit by that bus. I can get through absolutely anything.
Right.
Like that is the mentality. That's the energy I hold. This is temporary. My body's designed to survive.
Right.
I have a winner's mindset. I am here to inspire others. I am grateful for all the losses, because with every loss there is a gain.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an exercise that I've done with a person I teach with, and I borrowed it from her. I take it from her, but what I do with my clients is I'm like, take everything that's bad that's happening. I write on a timeline. And my parents got divorced. I got fired from a job. I didn't, I lost my girlfriend. Whatever it is, and then what came out of that? Try to find something good that came out of it, and inevitably people will find something, some growth thing that came out of that. And it's like, focus on that, right?
Yes.
And as you said, we've survived 100% of our bad days. We've had bad days. We're not sitting here because nothing bad ever happened to us, but we've survived that, and we've learned how to, like, how do I take that bad thing, quote, and turn it into something, transmute, to use the word that you use, transmute that.
Transmute it. Yes. And then over time, it just becomes effortless, because you're just vibrating so high that you start to really experience what I call 5D reality. And that is not living through the mind anymore. You are truly just being in the present moment, and you're identifying through your auric fields. Like that is what I call the advanced human. When you're observing life unfold around you, and you hold so much compassion for others who are on the journey to discover and remember who they authentically are, which is not the ego. Everything shifts again at that point, and you truly become like Lady or Mr. Luck. It's just like everything just kind of falls into place, and you always feel held.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do near-death experiences and related phenomena fascinate you? Are you curious for more information about this spiritually impactful experience? Well, I have great news for you, because a spiritual Super Bowl is coming to Seattle, August 26th through 30th. The International Association for Near-Death Studies, or IANS, will host its annual conference at the Hyatt Regency in Bellevue. The event features an all-star lineup of keynotes like Proof of Heaven author Eben Alexander and Dying to Be Me author Anita Morjani. IANS will also offer continuing education for professionals, a healing center, exhibit floor, bookstore, and a fun-filled Saturday night party. Early bird registration rates are available through July 15th. Visit iands.org, IANDS.org now, and join 1,000 people who are expected to attend. You'll experience connection with an incredible community of near-death experiencers and seekers. Yeah. So let's talk about 3D and 5D, because these are terms that people like you and I hear, but someone might be new to the podcast and might say, what are they talking about? What happened to 4D, and what's 3D, and what's 5D?
Well, 3D is a very is a more dense reality. I call it Earth School, and from 3D, you're operating from your ego. So you believe that you're in control of everything, and so you manipulate things in order to survive. And you're operating from the programming and the identity that has been imprinted on.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lower vibration with a lot of tests, lessons, temptations. 5D is outside of ego. So you learn to identify also outside of your programming. You're not needing to manipulate anything, and you understand that you're just an energetic being. And you do just that. You are just being in every now moment. It is also outside of fear. It's held in a vibration of love. So somebody who's awakened and is doing the work and understands that they are a powerful manifester, their journey is to move from 3D to 5D, or your south node into your north node. That's another a term that people use to define these two dimensions. 4D is a state in between it. It's that place where you fluctuate. And so we can get sometimes lost in that place because we're in limbo. It's that transformational period of our ascension. So yes.
That's interesting. I've never heard anybody really talk about 4D, and I've always wondered why no one talks about that. So thank you for sharing that.
It's almost like it's scrambled because you're not here and you're not there. It's in between. Yeah.
So can we actually, because we're not talking about a physical shift here. We're not saying that, I become a 5D person and so I'm no longer engaged because we're still living in this world. So is it possible to stay in that 5D space, or do we typically bounce back and forth?
You will bounce back and forth a lot. You can sustain it. Absolutely. But you become an observer to reality from that place.
Okay.
So, and you truly become a guide. You allow people to have an experience, but you don't interfere with their journey. It's totally different, and it's magical because you hold so much love and reverence for your soul counterpart who is going through the journey. And yes, it's possible to sustain it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, we've talked a little bit about, clearing karma. And so is it a mind shift that we're going through? Just a shift in perspective?
It's a vibrational shift, I would say.
Okay.
Yes. So to elevate in frequency, it's amazing. As you're holding a really, really high frequency, think of it like if you've gone to a retreat and you've fed your mind all these uplifting messages, and you've eaten all these high vibrational foods, and you've been in an environment that is safe and supports this container. So we're removing all fear. That is an isolated instance that helps you hold a really, really high vibration. So the journey is to create that same high vibrational experience in this dense reality.
Yeah.
So it does require a commitment to understand what timelines are and how we start shifting our what we eat, the thoughts that are running through our mind, the choices that we're making, the people that we surround ourselves with. As we start to elevate in frequency by making these lifestyle choices, we start to jump timelines.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, as you were saying that, I think about like sometimes you'll go to a retreat, right? And you're there for a weekend and you listen to all these amazing speakers and you're around like-minded people and you feel like it's like a magical space.
It is.
You've shifted that 5D for a minute. And then you hit the airport on the way home and your flight's canceled or whatever and then you're like, okay, right, I'm right back in 3D.
Draw. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is why it's so important to do the inner work. It's possible to sustain a high vibration, but it does require a commitment
Mhm.
to learn how to raise your frequency in every present moment, no matter what's coming. It's funny you say that. I was just stranded at an airport with my girls in the Dominican, and knowing I was coming back to a massive, rare snowstorm,
Yeah.
and my credit card was like all these things were happening to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in that present moment, because I've done the inner work, I said, okay, well, what can I do in this now moment? So I actually chose to activate myself. And I just started to walk around the airport. And it was magical in that I met eyes with this toddler and she saw me. She
Mm.
saw the real me, the
Mhm.
energy me. And in that moment, she became activated and her aura started to expand and she lit right up. And that moment alone may seem inconsequential to somebody else, but for me, it was everything. It
Mhm.
reminded me why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I guess this is the invitation that I want people to see what it is to live in 5D. I felt so loved and free and full in that one singular moment when there is chaos happening around me. That is the invitation that, and that is the ability we all have, but we have to have a willingness to learn how to get there, to
Yeah.
become the eye of the storm.
I thank you. That was a perfect example, I think, because again, as we hear about some things when it comes to manifestation, et cetera, they would say, well, if you just think the right thoughts, then all of your flights will be fine, and you'll never have a snowstorm in your life, and your credit cards, will never be denied or whatever. And that's not it. It's that shift in that you said. It's like you didn't make the plane fly on time. You didn't keep the snowstorm away, but having that calm within the storm, the eye of the storm, I think is what you just said. That's the key, right? It's that understanding that whatever it is that's happening around me, to me, whatever, is temporary, and I don't yet know the outcome of it. As again, I think about the things that have happened to me. One of the worst things that happened was I was fired from a job, when my daughter was 9 months old. And my wife wasn't working; she was staying home with my daughter, and I was mad. I was like, "This is terrible. It's the worst thing that could possibly happen." But long story short, I ended up taking a big risk on a job I wouldn't have taken a risk on before. Moved to where I live now. I made more money than I've been making, and as I thought back over the years, I was so angry about this. It's like it forced me to take a risk that I otherwise would not have taken. And the only reason I took the risk was because I had nothing to lose. So, I mean, I took a job, it was a 100% commission job. And I would have never taken that job if I hadn't been fired.
Yes. Oh my God, I love that story. And
Yeah.
this is what I call those tower moments. We are here to evolve. That is our singular purpose for existing here and transcending this human experience. And those tower moments, that's the universe's way of pushing us. It's interesting because we think we have so much control over our destiny, but as you start to elevate and see things from higher dimensions, we're all heading to the same place. It's
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
it's already predefined, it's predestined, but the pathway that you take there, that's where you get choice.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's another really, really good point. I love that too, because as you start to make this shift, as you said, you realize all of this is temporary. It's the pathway that's there. It's the lessons that we have along the way. It's experience. But and one of my favorite quotes is by John Lennon. He says, "Everything will be okay in the end. If everything is not okay, then it's not the end." So I just try to keep that in mind. Whatever I'm going through, the destination's already been determined. We know where we're going, right? It's just how we get there.
Exactly. So I would remind everyone the only real choice that you have in every present now moment is, are you going to see things from a high vibration or low vibration?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yes. And also to add to that is it is a choice because people think that it's not a choice. And this is one thing I love about the work that I do is I get to talk to people every day who have been through the worst things that we can imagine. Losing children, losing spouses, losing parents, losing homes. All I just can't even think of all the things. And they have chosen like this is what I'm going to do with this. This is how I'm going to choose to see this. So when someone says to me, it's not a choice. I'm here to tell you it is because when my daughter passed away, I had a choice and I decided I was going to view it as negative. That's the way I was going to live the rest of my life. But then I realized that was actually a choice itself.
Yes. And it's a terrible thing to have to go through. But I would also point out sometimes those really, really challenging obstacles are a great gift because there is no, you think you can't go lower than that. So
Right.
it like pushes you, it
Yeah.
catapults you into that growth mindset because you know that this isn't serving you. And I would even argue in some ways that the people who aren't challenged with such a terrible, life-changing event, they have a harder road in some ways.
I
It's like
agree.
that slow drip. It's that they don't have a great story or an excuse or a tragedy to push them.
Yeah.
They have to push themselves. And that slow drip is that emotional abuse, that trauma, whether it's projected by another or it is done to ourselves.
Hmm.
To move out of that is extremely difficult, but it is possible.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That is a really good point because some of us we do have those moments, those transformational moments that we can point to. Those really um, punctuated equilibriums. I always go back to they talk about an evolution, right? The evolution is usually very long and very slow, but there are these moments in the evolutionary cycle where it's punctuated, and that's what like we've experienced. And I'm grateful for those moments. You can get to the point where it's like I'm glad I had that. Otherwise, I'd still be walking around asleep.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's hard for somebody who they have nothing to complain about, but they just know that they're sad. They know
Yeah.
that they're in a low vibration and they can't pinpoint what it is because it's a combination of so many low vibrational factors. It can be difficult to see the light from that place.
Yeah, yeah, that is an excellent point because there is this. I think a lot of people have this existential like blah. there's something wrong there. I know there's something more. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. It reminds me of the Matrix. Neo and the Matrix is just like
Exactly.
something's wrong. But just like at the back of his mind, just something's wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's just it.
Yeah.
This is why we have teachers and guides and coaches to move us out of it, to recognize that it's not about our programming, that this reality isn't what we think it is, and that it can be shifted just through our vibration alone, and to discover how powerful we are and that we can bend reality like Neo
Yeah.
just through the power of perception that comes through a higher frequency.
Yeah, exactly. So, and speaking of that, I know your book is about like how we can become quote superhuman. So
Yes.
tell people about your book.
Thank you so much. My book is Karma to Dharma, a New Age Guide to Becoming Superhuman. And the book is a combination of all the journaling that I did over a few years. And it basically shows people how to read energy, how the laws of the universe are working for us, and what are the poignant parts of it so that you can start to transform your reality and actively co-create with the universe to experience a life in a higher vibration.
Yeah.
Uh, it talks about magic and word magic. It's full of downloads, but the most important thing is that I wrote it in such a simplified way, and I left a lot of spacing so that people can write as many notes as they want. But it's relatable to anyone, no matter where you're at in this journey. So if you don't know where to start, that is a good place to start. And then you learn to work with spirit to guide you towards your most, I would say, your quickest way to evolve into your highest self.
Yeah. Now we've talked a lot about karma. We haven't talked as much about dharma. So for people that don't understand, because I mean, we've all heard the word karma. Most of us, or a lot of us, probably haven't heard the word dharma. So what does it mean to move from karma to dharma?
So dharma is essentially the same thing, except it's held outside of fear. It's held in such a high vibration. You truly know that the universe is working for you. To live from that frequency, you're the individual that is always winning, and things just work out for you. You see life through a lens of love that can't be understood logically. It needs to be experienced. Can you imagine not living in fear? Can you imagine not living with anxiety? Can you imagine not living in your mind and just experiencing life? That's Dharma.
Okay. Okay. And that's so when people get the book, this is something that'll help them to be able to make that shift, to move out of the fear that which is the ego-based fear that you've talked about.
It's a blueprint to shift from 3D to 5D.
Okay. And I know you have other offerings. I took a look at your website earlier. So what other things do you offer people?
You can work with me one-on-one. And I'm also launching a course that is in alignment with the book, and much like working with you, it's no different. But the beautiful thing about working with a coach is that you are held in a really, really high vibration. It's the quickest way to shift. And so that course is a 9-week course where I take you through the steps, the blueprint towards your highest evolution, and then give you all the tools you need so that you know exactly what you need to follow so you can keep elevating.
Okay. And what types of tools are we talking about? Like meditation or
The most important one, there are tons of them. And I like to curate it towards the individual that I'm working with, of course. But the most important tool is that level of awareness and shifting out of your mind and into your auric field. So through the course, I teach people how to activate from within and to live with your consciousness in your auric field and how you can expand it. It's the quickest way to get out of your mind
Yeah.
and to elevate your frequency.
Yeah. Awesome. So, is there anything that you wanted to talk about today that we haven't discussed yet?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say no. I I I don't I believe that everything happens exactly as it should. And I'm grateful for you opening this door, but my heart feels complete, and I am just grateful for this time that I was
Yeah.
able to share with you. And I hope that this sparks a light within as many listeners as possible, that you're never stuck. There's always a next. And just when you think you are at your peak, no, there's something beyond that. So to just stay curious, stay open-hearted,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I love that you said you're never stuck. I would say there are no endings. There are only new beginnings. So we've gone through, a lot of us have gone through stuff, and we feel like, this is the end. And I do work with a lot of people who think like this is it. This is the end. It's never going to get better. It's my life is over. I've heard that so many times, and it's never over. It's never over. There's always a new beginning, and I've seen it. I've seen it manifest in so many people that think that. And I love what you're doing is helping people understand, we get to choose. We can always, it's never too late to start over, whether you're 30, 40, 50, 80, whatever years old. It's never too late to start over and to develop this mindset, because you have a choice. We all have a choice every day in how we choose things.
Yes, every day is a reset. I'm soon going to be 50, and I'm starting all over again. And I'll do it over and over and over, because I don't want to waste this precious time here on earth. I don't think people really grasp how amazing. Yes, it's dense. Yes, it's earth school, but we get to experience life in the physical.
Yeah.
And I think we lose sight of how precious that is.
I think we do too. We do. I know I can speak for myself. I get so caught up sometimes in the grind, and you say, all I want to do is be out of this 3D world, right? I'm tired of it. I'm fed up with it. And then I hear, people in the spirit world saying this is an opportunity to come here and have these experiences. And life is what we make of it, as we've been talking about this whole time, right? I can get up in the morning, and today, happens to be, it's a beautiful day where I am today. It's 60 degrees, which is better than like last week. It was like in the 20s. So, I'm grateful that I have sunshine today. I could be grateful for that. Or I could say, I wish I was somewhere else. So we get to choose.
Exactly. And that's living in 5D.
Yeah.
Is when you're in such a high frequency of gratitude. I get to kiss my wife today.
Yeah.
I get to experience rain on my skin. I get to love somebody so much that I don't allow their hurt to hurt me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. That's the shift that we can make. And appreciate what you're doing with your work and with your book. So I encourage people to go check out your website to check out the book. Liane, thanks for being here today, and thanks for doing what you do.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you.
One of the hardest things about grief, most of the people in your life just don't get it. They want you to be further along than you are. They get uncomfortable when you bring it up, so you stop bringing it up. And that's why I started writing. My Substack is where I go deeper, thoughts I don't always get to in the podcast, essays on consciousness, on continuing bonds, on what it actually means to carry loss and still build a life. The stuff that used to keep me up at night, written out in a way that I hope meets you in the morning. But here's what I didn't expect when I started it, the community that showed up. People who are doing exactly what you're doing, listening, learning, trying to find their footing. Readers who comment, who share their own stories, who remind each other that none of us are as alone in this as we feel. And that's what the Substack has become, a place to go deeper with me and to find your people. It's free to subscribe. Find me at grieftogrowth.com/Substack. That's grief, the numeral 2, growth.com/Substack. Or just go to Substack and search for Grief to Growth. I hope to see you there.